Just ahead on CTV News.
What happens when the technology that we rely on every day goes out of service? I'm here with passengers at BWI Airport that have been waiting for 3 hours or more. I've got the story on this major technology outage coming up on CTV News.
Plus, Forest Heights Police has you covered if you're traveling this summer.
We wanted to try to alleviate some of the stress here at the Forest Heights Police Department that when you are away, we are watching your home.
And we sit down with one of the special election candidates. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for July 19th. I'm Bryce Parker.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. In topping our news tonight, a computer update glitch causes a tech meltdown resulting in historic outages across the globe.
CTV's Mariah Jalad is at BWI Airport with the latest on this developing story.
Flights grounded, hospital systems offline, and banks out of operation, all due to a catastrophic global technology outage. Early this morning, flights here at BWI Marshall Airport were all but shut down with lines at a standstill. Cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike says the global outage isn't due to a cyber attack, but that the problem started when a faulty update went out to computers running Microsoft Windows. The disruption is affecting software that many companies use to keep their businesses running, like check-in and booking for airlines.
It's delayed by several hours, but I feel like I got lucky with that. I know my parents were also traveling today, and they got moved to tomorrow, so I feel like I got lucky.
3.5 hours.
Were you expecting this at all today?
No, but my brother was texting us on the drive to see there's a global software problem. Yeah. All we have to do is get to Portland today.
Most major airlines were affected, including American, United, and Delta. And here at BWI, more than 130 flights were delays and at least 10 canceled. The airlines are still trying to get their issues sorted out. Most of these passengers are still hoping they'll be able to get on their flights today. And CrowdStrike says a solution to the outage is in progress. From BWI Airport, Mariah Jalad, CTV News.
All right, Mariah, thanks so much. Well, the FAA lifted ground stop orders for the major airlines this afternoon. And while flights are resuming, customers may still experience delays. And a fatal collision in Suitland yesterday leaves a 69-year-old man dead. Zachary Cummings from Bowie collided with another vehicle near the intersection of Central Avenue and Bright Seat Road. Now, police located Cummings in his vehicle and transported him to the local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The second driver, however, wasn't harmed, but anyone with information on this collision is urged to call that number right there on your screen.
The Carjacking Interdiction Unit released a video of a carjacking in Upper Marlboro last week. The carjacking took place at the 9500 block of Crane Highway. Here you can see the suspect approaching the victim's vehicle several times before opening the driver's side door and then attempting to pull the victim out of the vehicle. Thankfully, the suspect eventually fled the scene. And anyone with information on this suspect is urged to call 301-516-3788.
And Attorney General Anthony Brown announces a case involving gender-based discrimination in housing during a press conference. Brown announces the first case to come out of the newly formed Civil Rights Division. The case, which was filed this morning, was against Eric Sessions, a landlord in Mount Vernon Group, LLC from Wacomico County. Now, Brown says Sessions allegedly targeted women, particularly single moms with housing issues, through sexual harassment and unwanted touching.
It's our hope that this case will shed light on this pervasive and insidious problem and put landlords and housing providers on notice. You cannot sexually harass your tenants. You cannot demand sex for rent. And you cannot retaliate against tenants who rebuff your unwanted advances.
And Brown launched the Civil Rights Division within his office back in January.
A Prince George's County distribution center is set to potentially lay off nearly 150 employees. Michigan-based food supplier Spartan Nash plans to shut down its Landover location after acquiring it in a $1.3 billion merger a decade ago. The facility plans to close down by September 30th and redistribute the work to its other East Coast facilities. Some impacted employees will have an opportunity to transition to other facilities, and this is just the latest impact the county's workforce as 4 other companies plan to close county locations in the next several months. And Forest Heights Police launched a new program this week that provides residents some peace of mind while they are away from their homes. It's called the House Safe Program, and you can request the department to patrol your house whenever you are leaving for an extended period of time. The officers will stop by 4 times a day for however long that is requested, and the program hopes to bridge law enforcement and community relations.
So we actually just debuted the program on Monday, and so what we like about it is we're trying to get back to community first, and so what it's like, it's probably like going to Southern Homes where we're trying to bring back officer friendly. Here in the Forest Heights area, we are all part of the community, the police department, religious organizations, the stores that we have here, so we want to try to do all that community all together and try to get back as much as we can.
For any questions about the program, you can contact the number right there on your screen.
Well, a Maryland congressman is calling on President Joe Biden to reconsider his re-election campaign. According to the Baltimore Banner, Congressman Jamie Raskin sent a letter to Biden asking him to weigh his political future carefully. Now, reports indicate that the letter praised Biden, but also compared him to a tired baseball player. The letter, which was dated July 6th, also suggests that the stakes are high for Democrats and the nation. And Prince George's County Police need your help in finding a man. Right there on your screen is 19-year-old Nicholas J. Collins. He was last seen near Reno Court in Clinton on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. He was actually wearing a navy blue shirt with an orange stripe down the side, dark blue jeans, and dark blue New Balance shoes. Collins is 6 feet tall and weighs 145 pounds, but anyone with information on Collins' whereabouts is asked to call 301-772-8970. And still to come, meet a mom that turned a problem into a purpose.
And we introduce you to 2 local friends that turned second-hand fashion into profit. You're watching CTV News. Don't go away. We'll be
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
Welcome back. Airport service workers at Dulles and Reagan will now have a paid sick leave policy. The first of its kind policy comes after a 4-year campaign led by the region's top elected officials so that wheelchair assistants, cabin cleaners, terminal cleaners, and baggage handlers can have access to 40-hour paid sick leave per year. Workers are still vowing to push for more health care benefits and an improved wage policy to offset health care costs. The policy will go into effect next year.
And a woman is starting her own child care business after she says trying to find good child care in Prince George's County was a challenge. She welcomed CTV News into her home ahead of her grand opening. Stephanie Jovine knows the joy of parenting firsthand.
I'm just so in love. They're amazing.
With 3 children under her wing, including her youngest at just 5 months old. But trying to find good childcare in Prince George's County was challenging for her.
I tried maybe 4 or 5 daycare centers in PG County. Some were too expensive, some just did not work. There was one daycare where she was unfortunately mistreated, was not given slack, and then was prevented from sleeping on the cots because she wasn't given her sheets.
So she's taking matters into her own hands, turning her home into a haven for childcare. Once a school teacher, now a caregiver, Stephanie is preparing to welcome infants to 5-year-olds into her new venture.
As an educator, I was already in the field. I love and have a passion for children. My road kind of changed, one, because I could not find care. So at the time, I said, you know what, I'm just going to start my own daycare.
The costs are staggering. According to the Maryland Family Network, childcare in Prince George's County can range from $271 to nearly $360 a week.
Pricing was an issue for me, but at that point, I did not care. It's just honestly a dream come true. I'm glad that I'm able to work with my children and be able to teach them, but also teach other kids alongside.
A new chapter filled with hope, love, and the promise of a brighter future. And Stephanie's grand opening is on August 5th. She will be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and she's offering tuition at $250 for toddlers and $330 for infants weekly. Well, a Maryland floral company is paying $1.25 million to resolve allegations of filing false unemployment insurance claims for their employees at the beginning of the pandemic. According to the settlement, Potomac Flower Wholesale and the CEO instructed employers to apply for unemployed insurance benefits and to continue working without pay. And this led to the company filing false claims, violating the False Claims Act. The U.S. Attorney for the District of Maryland announced the settlement and said, quote, attempting to unjustly profit from a global pandemic is absolutely wrong.
The Department of Parks and Recreation has joined forces with Our Generation Foundation and Kaboom to build a kid-designed and community-built playground at Palmer Park Community Center in Landover. Kaboom is a national nonprofit that works to end play space inequity in various communities. The Our Generation Foundation was founded by NBA player Jeremy Grant, who has roots in the community.
Yeah, Our Generation Foundation, we put together, we do a lot of things in the community, but this in particular, this playground field, it was just our vision, like I said, to be able to give back to the kids and the community, to create a space that's up to date and that's comfortable for everybody.
This really is a true collaboration with Kaboom and with Our Generation, helping with the funding. When you look around here, you see all the people from all these organizations, plus folks in the community. So it's not just about the planning, it's also about the collaboration of implementation. It really is wonderful to see.
Well, this past Wednesday, the National Capital Region Transportation Planning Board approved a total of 12 transportation projects in Maryland, totaling nearly $10 million. The projects TPB approved aim at reducing greenhouse gases and offer transportation alternatives. Now, 2 of those projects are right here in Prince George's County, with one focusing on the University of Maryland's campus.
University of Maryland's been doing some really great planning work, trying to make the campus more walking and biking friendly and less car oriented. And this is a major piece of that. It's a priority corridor. It's along Alumni Drive, and it's going to connect to the Purple Line, which is going to open up in a little over 2 years. This is one project. And as you said, this is $1.7 million for the University of Maryland. That sounds like a lot of money, but it's actually not. It's going to cost a lot more to sort of build the system that community needs, that we need throughout the region. But this kind of projects can be really catalyzing. People get these new habits. They realize, hey, I can bike to the Purple Line. I can live a few miles away. I can bike to work, and then I can take the train to work, and then I can bike from there. It's going to be creating new habits, new walkers, new bicyclists into the future that are going to be demanding this stuff, and we're hopefully going to be able to respond.
And the other project approved in the county will be about $1.2 million for a bicycle and pedestrian connection along Route 210. And tonight on CTV, we continue our conversation with 2 county businesswomen.
Meet Kelly Queen and Sadiqa Brown, the owners and operators of New Digs, a consignment store in Upper Marlboro and Crofton. The pair talks with CTV's Katara Jones about the vision for their business and how they were able to pivot during the global pandemic.
The vision was to be the consignment of Nordstrom.
The Nordstrom of consignment.
The owners of New Digs Consignment wanted to provide a boutique-style experience for their customers here in Prince George's. When you walk around the store, you will see clothing, purses, shoes, and jewelry, some with high-end designer tags, as well as more affordable items by local designers, all geared toward the stylish woman.
We have from Shein to Chanel, so we don't like to discourage anybody from consigning, as long as it's in good condition, current, stylish.
It's designed for us to do mid, high end. That's our motto. But we've discovered, especially during COVID, that our customers don't really mind the brand as long as it's cute.
The pair also says the benefits to consigning the goods that you no longer want is that it offers people an opportunity to make money, and it keeps clothes out of landfills.
I would say that's the best part about consignment. You can really get some great pieces, and we curate these pieces so you're not worrying about stains or holes or, it has a smell or odor. You don't have to, we've done that already. So when you come in here, these pieces have already, it's just like you shopping at a department store.
Queen and Brown got their second location in Crofton just 2 months before COVID hit in 2020. They describe those early days of the pandemic being a very scary time for their business.
Like most people, we thought, okay, it's going to be 2 weeks. We just take a little break. But then after about a month, we like, uh-oh. And that's when they actually permanently, not permanently, but for 3 months, we were forced to close.
The co-owners decided to shift gears toward online sales and social media. This resulted in both locations doubling in sales in 2020. But how did they do it while many stores were closing down?
If you don't hear us say God in the interview, you either tap something wrong, because the first answer is God. The second one was, you gotta make a decision. This is it. There's no backup plan. You burn all the bridges and you full speed ahead.
Now, if you plan to visit New Dick's Consignment, keep in mind that both their Upper Marlboro location and their Crofton store is open Monday to Saturday, noon to 5. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Thank you, Katira. And for more details on New Dick's Consignment, visit the website on your screen. And don't go away.
As we continue to introduce you to candidates looking to fill the county's at-large seat, CTV News will be back in just a few minutes.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. My name is Ariel, and my entire life changed when I took a chance and I got my high school diploma at age 22. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers. They were with me every step of the way, helping with my English and math, making sure I pushed through all the challenges. Oh my goodness.
So Ariel, we made this yearbook for you. It has notes from all the people that are here. Your achievement has set an example for so many students. Most importantly, your daughter.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
The special election for the county's council at-large seat is less than 3 weeks away. And in the next coming weeks, CTV will introduce you to each of those candidates.
And joining us in the studio today is candidate and county chair Jolene Ivey. Miss Ivey, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. So you already sit on the council. Why are you now throwing your hat in the race for the at-large seat?
Whoever gets this seat should be somebody who's got a deep knowledge of the county, of our budget, of the challenges that we face, and some possible solutions. This could be conceivably a seat that someone sits in for the next 10 years. I don't think it makes sense to let somebody get there who needs to figure things out about the whole county. It's one thing to come in and learn your district, but if you don't know the whole county already, you're really starting at a disadvantage.
Absolutely.
Chair Ivey, thank you again for joining us. Speaking of budget, moving into this second session, we are currently in a $150 million deficit. How do you personally plan to try to get us out of this deficit and move things along without making it an extra burden on the taxpayers?
Absolutely, because our taxes, our property taxes, are already too high. So there's no way that we would revisit that issue, at least not as long as I'm on the council. I do think that The council did a great job working with the county executive this year to close the budget deficit, and we did it without doing anything that harmed people, right? So we didn't have anyone lose their job. You know, there were no layoffs or anything like that. In fact, we figured out how to shave off something off of most budgets, not all budgets, and still be able to hire 50 more police officers and 150 more firefighters. We also put in an extra $200,000 into the police department's budget, so they have some flexibility when it comes to offering bonuses when they're hiring, because we're in a very competitive area when it comes to hiring police officers, and we're not going to be able to keep up otherwise.
Absolutely. And the county council just passed a new rent stabilization bill. So what are your thoughts when they did pass that bill, and what do you think that we're going to do to move forward?
Well, I am the lead sponsor of that bill, so I'm pleased how it ended. A bill starts out one way, and then there's give and take to see what the end result is. And I think it's healthy to have some push and pull, and then you end up with something maybe more in the middle, right? And I think that's what we just experienced. So during the pandemic, I was the lead sponsor of the original 3% cap to just get us through some really tough times. There were some landlords, not all, I want to be clear, but some landlords were so egregious in how they were jacking up rents and mistreating people. We just had to do something at that moment because it was the pandemic and things were just insane. So we did put the 3% cap on that year, and like I said, I was the lead sponsor for that. The council passed another 3% temporary cap about a year and a half ago. We came to another situation after the first cap expired and things started getting back to normal, so to speak. We started seeing again some landlords misbehaving. So we put the temporary 3% cap on. It was supposed to just be for a year, but it took us longer than that to get to a point where we were ready to pass something permanently. You really want to take your time and consider all the stakeholders, the people who rent to them, because they both have needs and rights. And we need to make sure that we're being fair to everyone. So I think we did a good job. We have in this bill, it's a maximum of a 6% increase, 3% plus CPI, but no more than 6% a year. And we have some other provisions that take care of people so that if somebody moves out of a unit, that unit isn't dramatically increased for the next person. So, there was some give and take along the way, and I think we've come to a good compromise, and I'm excited about the bill.
So quickly before we have to go, I want to pivot to an issue that a lot of people in the county are talking about, crime, and especially youth in the county who are committing crime. Quickly, can you please, tell us how you plan to try to solve some of these issues with crime within the county?
That's such an important issue, and I have been in conversation already with some police officers. We're working on a pilot program that would pair up a social worker with, at least one, with a police officer, make appointments in the homes of the young people who are getting into trouble. A lot of times the parents don't know how bad things are. They don't realize that their child is carrying a gun, for example, but the police know, and they've got a list of people. It's only about 100 in the county who are really causing problems. Most of our young people are doing well, but for the ones who aren't, it makes it unsafe for all of us. So by meeting with the young people, with their families, that's really important, because the parents are just such a critical part of the answer to this problem. And parents need to be engaged, and they need to know what situation their child is in, and then to know what resources are available from the county to be able to get the child back on track. So we're excited about the ideas, and we're working on it, and I look forward to it actually launching.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, make sure you tune in Monday as we introduce another candidate, Jonathan White. And up next on CTV News,
Simon Buggs has our Friday sports page, and he's talking women's basketball. Simon?
there, sports fans, and coming right up, a UMD women's basketball legend gets honored for her amazing career. Those stories and more in a bit. Don't move.
The power of the knock is food. Your stew's delicious. I'm 88 years old, and I was with the Ice Capades when I was young. Now, being as old as I am, I lose balance. I don't like ending up this way, but what am I going to do? I got Meals on Wheels for the 5 years that I've been here. It's nice to know they come, and if you feel like talking, you can talk to them. I could talk for forever. They're totally a blessing.
Okay, everybody, it's time for your favorite segment, your Friday Sports Page. Beginning with some basketball news, Maryland women's basketball legend Vicki Bullitt will be inducted into the DC Sports Hall of Fame this weekend. Bullitt played in College Park from 1986 to 89 and left as the program's leader in career points and rebounds. She also led Maryland to 3 ACC championships and was named a ACC Player of the Year in 1989. Bullitt was later drafted into the WNBA in 1997 and suited up for the Mystics from 2000 to 2002. She was eventually inducted into the team's Hall of Fame in 2022. The induction ceremony will be held at Nationals Park on Sunday. Moving on to more women's basketball news, WNBA All-Star Weekend is finally here. And while the Mystics won't have a player representing them in the All-Star game, they'll still have some representation this weekend, as center Stephanie Dolson will participate in the three-point contest. Dolson has been lighting it up from beyond the arc, shooting almost 49%, which leads the league. In the contest, Dolson will match up against Atlanta Dream guard Alicia Gray, New York Liberty center Jonquel Jones, Connecticut Sun guard Marina Mabry, and Minnesota Lynx guard Kayla McBride. The contest will take place tonight at 9 o'clock. Switching gears to the NFL, the Washington Commanders will be bidding farewell to a front office member, as team president Jason Wright will be leaving the franchise after the 2024 season. Wright, who had been with the team since 2020, helped the team navigate the rebranding process into the Washington Commanders in 2022, as well as the changing of ownership from Dan Snyder to Josh Harris. Wright, who was the first black president of an NFL team, will have a new title this season as the team's senior advisor. But he will have the same duties he had as president, which includes helping the franchise complete its new stadium deal. And wrapping up sports, the Baltimore Orioles will be in action tonight. The Birds will take the diamond against the Texas Rangers at 8:05. And that wraps up your Friday Sports Page. Simon Bucks, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 70 degrees. Saturday, we will have a 40% chance of rain and a high of 83.
And Sunday, we will be nice and sunny with a high of 91. Monday, we will have a high of 89, but rain is expected after 2 p.m. And before we let you go, let's get a look at our community calendar. Attention 90s boy band lovers.
Joey Fatone of NSYNC and AJ McLean of the Backstreet Boys have joined forces for an epic collaboration, If You Want It That Way. The artists, along with the 7-piece live band, will be performing at the MGM National Harbor this Saturday at 8 p.m. So get your tickets before they say bye, bye, bye. And that wraps up for CTV News. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you again Monday. Have a great night.